recovery was the focus, maybe more so than addiction was. And that is to say that it really celebrated the progress, the wins, and the hard work.
Well, before actually we start to talk about Union County, I had forgotten, Will, that you voiced Mr. Wickham in the new Pride and Prejudice.
Oh, yeah.
So I am curious, what other audiobooks or podcasts are you all listening to? And you guys did all download that one, correct?
Oh, yeah, I've already listened to it like 3 times.
A million times.
Yeah. I just listened to Josh Brolin's memoir, and I loved it so much. It's gorgeous.
Oh, cool.
And then my fiance keeps reminding me to listen to Educated, which I've never listened to, but it feels that might be up next. Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I have to tell you that anything I listen to is probably about my job, so.
Oh, listen, we want to know those too.
Yeah.
Give us
well, I'm always
information.
looking at new strategies and new ways to engage people. So, you know, I'm looking at what's out there for that. So, yeah.
One of my favorites is The Happiness Lab by Dr. Laurie Santos. It's one of my favorites. She's a former professor of Harvard, and she looked to try and improve the general levels of happiness amongst her students, and sort of took into account their mental well-being in pursuit of grades and obviously like huge academic pressures. And then she kind of democratized it by putting it on Audible and making it available to people.
Love it.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Well, I will say in this film, you're not playing someone quite so dastardly. So glad Cody is a different type of guy. When you first read Union County, what was it that stood out to you about this story?
I think for me, the thing that set Union County apart in respect of how it looked at recovery was the fact that recovery was the focus, maybe more so than addiction was. And that is to say that it really celebrated the progress, the wins, and the hard work, not just from service providers within the adult recovery court that Annette runs, but also by the participants. And it really sort of shed light on what amazing efforts people go to on their recovery journey. And I think learning more about how the project was crafted, that, you know, it takes place in a real environment from which, you know, Adam hails and Annette works in. And so for me as a kind of outsider to be allowed a place, you know, in the telling of that story and in the drawing of attention to this work was like a massive privilege and a no-brainer to want to be involved.
And Annette, you were already, you know, interested in acting well before this film ever came your way, and actually before you started working in the recovery program. What was it about when you started having conversations with Adam about, you know, not even just like making this film? What stood out to you about him as a storyteller?
Oh, well, I think right from the beginning, when he came with the idea for the short film. Of course, it went right to my heart because it was talking about something that was very near and dear to me. And he said, well, you know, why don't you come in that particular one, I play Debbie. Anyway, he said, I'd like you to do that. And I'm like, really? And having that opportunity to work with him, he's so gentle. The direction was so spot on, every little thing that he wanted. And then I watched how the people respected him in such a beautiful way that it was like, I want to be part of this. You know, I can really see that he is an amazing storyteller. And of course I watched the other short films and I'm like on the cliff with both of those, literally and figuratively. And so when he came back and said, look, you know, the short film did great, let's talk about more. It was like, of course, that's amazing. And so it's easy. I guess that's the best word. And then, you know, meeting Will and Noah, it was like, oh my gosh, I just have 2 more sons now.
Yeah.
You know? So I've kind of adopted them all in a lot of way. And just, you know, it's so, and I don't want to say effortless because there's a lot of work, but it never seemed like a strain. Of course, I was one of many, so others may say differently, but it was so gentle and so respectful and so from the heart. And to watch a professional actor get into that character, I mean, you know, I was theater trained, I wasn't film trained, you know. But to see that was just such an honor. Yeah, really sweet.
Adam, to you, this idea of kind of creating this hybrid storytelling and it truly like lends itself to a more, I would say, like empathetic film. How did you end up going about kind of merging our more non-professional actors like Annette and a lot of your subjects with Will and Noah's performances?
Yeah, I mean, as she just discussed, like Annette's sort of like the unicorn at the heart of this, who is both the program director and also somebody who has acted a lot in her past. And so Annette pretty quickly became the kind of bridge between the fiction and the nonfiction. She can exist as herself in the documentary context, and then she can perform in a fictional scene opposite Will. And that's pretty amazing, and that the movie, I think, works because of that. And so then the rest of it kind of follows from there, you know, like we had built, I think, a fair amount of trust over the years. So by the time we were in the courtroom and in sober support meetings and stuff, there was trust with me and with the crew and with the the cameras, and the whole kind of approach was built around observing and not imposing. So we were there with a camera, but we did not ask participants in these programs to act. It was just a chance to bring themselves forward and into the story and share their stories. And because the court program does that already, with or without cameras in the room, it was a way of kind of weaving that organically into the story.
Tell me a little bit about Will as Cody. What was it about him and the way that you two, kind of even just from that first meeting, that made you realize that you guys were kind of on the same page about this story?
Yeah, I mean, the first time we met, we got so quickly into the heart of the movie and the heart of the character and the heart of our intentions, and we were just aligned from the beginning. And we, I felt like I've not made a feature before. This is my first film, and I just told myself that for each person I hire, just make sure that we're making the same movie. And if everybody's making the same movie, we'll be in good shape. And Will and I were talking the same language from the very beginning. He's a big heart for it, so like humble and selfless, and just wanted to serve this story and this community, and that was really beautiful. Yeah.
I really respected the place from which Adam has always operated from when it comes to representing this community and the participants in the adult recovery court. It's with deep respect and reverence for their recovery process. And I think, Annette can obviously speak to that far better than me, but, that was fundamental and really the bedrock of trust that we all kind of really built the film on, and wouldn't have wanted to do it any other way or with anybody else.
Tell me a little bit about that relationship building, and how that then comes out in, like, for example, a scene. There's a phone call, a very important phone call that your character makes to Annette that's based off of something that happened in real life. What was it like for you, Will, in building that relationship with Annette and having all of those amazing interactions with your non-professional counterpart?
Yeah. I mean, it was amazing, for me to get to spend time with Annette, prior to filming, as part of the sort of research and pre-production process. We got to hang out a lot. She's so wonderfully hospitable. I'm sorry to talk about you're not in the room, but so hospitable and such a, just such a amazingly impactful and sort of cherished member of the community. So, you know, everyone wants a piece of Annette's time, and I was very, very lucky to get a lot of it, you know, when she is as busy as she is. And that was also, I think, really great for us to sort of develop this trust as actors before we kind of, you know, played this other relationship where we were sort of meeting for the first time and starting the journey. But similar approach, really, developing a trust and an understanding of one another before we acted.
Yeah, I would totally agree. And not only the trust that I think we have between us, but I think the other piece that's just so amazing here is how much the participants and the community learned to trust the crew, the directors, the producers, you know, actors. They are so excited to see this. And so the relationship building went so much further than just between us.
Yeah.
It's great. They talk about it all the time. I mean, they really do. They're just on the moon about it.
Yeah.
Okay, Annette, you said these guys are like your sons. So tell me, who's the most mischievous one? Who is the responsible one?
one's obvious.
Give us the real tea.
Well, the most mischievous one, and God love him, he's not here,
Yeah.
is Noah. He has a spirit that is so childlike, and it's just lovely. He's kept us in stitches. I mean, he would do stuff, and there was one time we were on scene, and there was a trampoline on the property, and he got on the trampoline, and like everyone's freaking out. Oh my gosh, he's going to fall off the trampoline, you know. So for sure. You know, he's that one. I have such a heart connection to these two that's just so beautiful that has continued way past the filming. It's a beautiful day when I get a text from one of them, you know, and they just are like, how are you and Gary, which is my husband, or, you know, how's things on the farm, or what are you cooking today, or, you know, just little things. So yeah, it's been amazing. And to, again, watch someone get into the character combined with this such heartfelt, conscious, gentle director. Yeah, pinch me. Yeah,
I was like,
crazy.
I can see the family bond.
Oh yeah,
right here.
it's really, well, in my phone actually, Will's number still says Cody Parsons.
Does it?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yours says Annette Dio.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Really, what a surprise.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And it was probably nice to get to play your own name this time around.
I know. It's really interesting,
I was
yeah.
gonna say Debbie was before I knew you were an actor.
Yeah, you were, yeah,
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Debbie was when we were still pretending, and now that
Yeah,
we know.
right.
But to that idea, Will, there was also obviously a lot of preparation involved to play Cody. You know, you're not playing yourself in this one. What were some of the keys to getting into that? Obviously, emotionally, accentally. Is that a word?
It can be, for sure. Yeah. No, you know, the preparation for this, a lot of it genuinely was sort of done for me, in the sense that there was this beautiful short that already existed. We were all working with this incredible screenplay that was informed by so many real life contributions, both from Annette and the participants that she works with. We had the opportunity, thanks to our producing team, to go out to Bellefontaine, spend time in the community prior to shooting. Adam, and together with his team, had, you know, accrued so much amazing footage, documentary footage, that folks within the community had sort of, you know, participated in. So there was a real kind of like wealth of materials to sort of look at and engage with well before, you know, we ever stepped onto set. So that was great. And then, you know, accent-wise, I mean, we worked with Sonia Field, who's an amazing accent coach. And also I would say that documentary footage was really helpful in terms of getting the accent. Spending time in a place as well is really helpful, like as opposed to learning it in a kind of textbook fashion, learning it colloquially, if you like, accentally, is always my preference. And I was grateful to get the time to be able to do that.
Adam, when did you first realize that he'd kind of nailed that real Ohioan?
He sent me a recording, and I played it for my cousin who lives there, and she was like, yeah, that's it. He got it. And it's a specific one because, you know, like Ohio is really at the center of the country, and it straddles like a kind of like Minnesota thing, and it straddles a southern thing, and and where we were filming is central Ohio, so it's really straddling these different things, and Will made it look really effortless. It was quite impressive from the jump, and I've said this to different folks, but it was so good that I at certain moments forgot that he was British, and when the accent came out, I was like taken aback.
Gosh, you just reminding me of how much your family alone contributed to this in so many ways.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It was a literal and metaphorical family made.
It really was, yeah. Because
Yeah.
that's how I met Adam, was
Through my
I'd met his uncle. Yeah, yeah. So,
Yeah.
absolutely family made.
Yep.
Well, I guess the last thing to that question is, you know, bringing this back to the people of Bellefontaine. I know you guys are going to do a premiere there. What are you looking forward to most about bringing the film from Sundance back to Ohio?
Well, for me, it's about honoring these participants. The ones who were in it, the ones who don't even know anything about it. It's honoring our recovery community and those community partners that we have that make this program a success. Our judge, all the staff, everybody really just put an amazing effort into it. And I just really want to celebrate them and have them get a taste of how wonderful this experience is and how much we really, really, really appreciate what they shared. Yeah.
I couldn't agree more. Can't really say it better myself, but I agree entirely. Without the participants, we have something that's kind of borderline ordinary.
Yeah.
And with them, we have something truly special. So it's only right we kind of bring it home and celebrate them.
Yeah, I think it'll be a celebration, and I want and hope and imagine that people, the community, can feel proud of the way that they represented themselves and one another, and it's going to be beautiful.
Yeah. And now everybody in Bellefontaine can say they know somebody who's in a Marvel movie.
That's honestly, I was always the least impressive person in the room. That's what I realized about being on this film. Is like, it was so amazing every day to watch people overcome challenges I can't even imagine and demonstrate a level of strength, perseverance, courage, commitment that I am inspired by, and it left an indelible mark on me.
It's really beautiful work. You know, I can't wait for everyone to see it tomorrow.
Tomorrow,
Yeah,
yeah.
I was like, we've already lived a full day.
That's
I'm
true.
really unclear
Yeah.
where I am, what's going on. Since I still have you here, though, I am going to ask you one last question. Will, do you know when Adam Warlock comes back into the MCU? How much heads up do they give you about bulking back up?
Oh, none. I know nothing. I know nothing. And it's genuinely one of those things, if I did know something, I wouldn't be allowed to say.
100.
But
I actually see the red light.
genuinely know nothing. Yeah.
Listen, I have to ask so I don't get fired.
Listen, I get it.
Well,
Good.
thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
So much.